if we get some shots?
Apparently not. They said the access was going to be too difficult. That's why we're doing it here.
In November, I wanted to come over and have an opportunity to see it. I will tell you that I'm probably as excited as anybody about this because, one, I have never seen a Delta II launch in person. I saw my first Atlas launch when we launched Juno, so it's really exciting for me to get an opportunity to see this. So I thank you all for coming down to cover, and I think we'll call it a day.
Quick question, actually. Do you find yourself focusing more on the unmanned program without a manned program?
No, as a matter of fact, I find my focus is about split the same way as it was when Shuttle was still flying. The thing that people forget is that NASA is a huge organization. We have now 3 major mission directives since we combined space ops and exploration. And the administrator's responsibility is to all of them. The one that I probably spend as much time on, contrary to what people would believe, is aeronautics, because it's the one that gets the least amount of money and probably does the most in terms of contributions to society. You know, you fly in safe airplanes, you fly in fast airplanes, you fly in quiet airplanes because of what's done in the aeronautics mission. So I spend a lot of my time working with Jaewon Shin on a $500 million budget program. These are really important, and I'm trying to educate myself more on the robotic missions, because we're trying to find ways to help convince the American public, to show them how science and human spaceflight, human exploration play hand in hand, and they always have, but they're going to be even more critical now that we're reaching very difficult fiscal times.
The White House.
How concerned are you that it's possible for the station being destaffed?
There is no, if I can try to help you, station is in good shape. We flew STS-135 to get adequate supplies on board. In case on my head, okay. Thank you so much. We actually flew 135, if you remember, as a logistics mission. Its purpose was to provision so we could stay occupied through 2013 until we have the capability for American companies to take supplies to station. The loss of progress was one of these unforeseen contingencies, but it turns out it's in the class of things that can happen.
Right.
And so we're in pretty good shape.
Well, that's for supplies,
Yeah,
but obviously
exactly.
with the crew, I mean, how concerned would be as far as the future of station that did operate for a while without people?
Station is very stable. Station is fully crewed. We right now have reached an agreement with our Russian colleagues that we're going to bring this increment that's scheduled to come home, what day, the 16th
Next week.
or something. They're going to come home on time. We had considered leaving them up for a little bit of extra time because we were concerned that we wouldn't be able to get the next increment up on time. But we've satisfied ourselves that we can continue to operate station with a 3-person crew, because the problem with the progress, actually with the vehicle, is one that we don't think is in the Soyuz itself. So we're getting to the point where we're going to satisfy ourselves that we can launch an unmanned vehicle to demonstrate that Soyuz is still okay, and then we'll fly the crew up on a normal Soyuz mission later this fall.
You don't care station.
Do I anticipate?
Yeah, no, do you care that you might be?
Oh yes, I do care. That's why, but I'm not. That is not something right now that I put on my list of high probability things. And the point I want to make is, station is very stable. The crew has continued to do the work that was scheduled for them right now. They're scheduled to come home on time. The next crew, Dan Burbank being the American, the next crew is still in training and ready to go when we say they're going to go. And once we've flown Soyuz and satisfied ourselves that we understand the root cause of the problem that caused the progress loss, then we'll fly and we'll get the next increment to station. So the possibility of demanning station is always something you think about, but it's not something that's high on my list of concerns right now, because we don't feel that that's something that we're going to have to do.
The consulting firm Booz Hamilton says to the White House, says that
And we're not going to talk about,
is NASA's budget overly optimistic?
No, NASA's budget is not overly optimistic. We spend a lot of time, analyzing and evaluating, and as you may remember, I said this is probably going to be, when you talk about heavy lift, it's probably the most critical decision I'll make as the NASA administrator. Everything we do costs money, and the big thing is that we just need to make sure that the American taxpayer gets what they pay for, and that's what we're going to do. We've spent months in analysis. I think if you read the Booz Allen Hamilton reports, it said that our basis of estimates were good and sound. It said that while they do have some concerns about what we call reserves, that they think we have a very sound program. Their recommendation throughout, and I'd encourage everybody to go back and look at the report. The recommendation throughout says, look, you guys have done all you can do for now. You need to pick up configuration and start building it. And then start getting fidelity to the numbers, because as I told Congress in my last hearing, if I come in and tell them that I know what something's going to cost and when we're going to be able to fly it before we get to preliminary design review, throw me out of the hearing. Because there are just so many things that we can't put fidelity on developmental programs until we go through various stages. And preliminary design review, what we call PDR, that is generally accepted as the point that you make a commitment to something because you're relatively certain what the cost is going to be. You're relatively certain what the schedule is going to be. So I would say, Booz gave us a pretty good mark, but they said you gotta settle on your configuration, because while you're waffling around, you can't make an estimate on anything.
When are we going to see that configuration?
Todd, I'm hoping very soon. You read just like I do. As I said, it's a very important decision, and it is a decision that has to be made in consult with the White House. I would love to be able to tell people that I make decisions about what NASA is going to do. In our system of government, it doesn't work that way. I get consulted from the Congress, and I really get consulted from my boss, the President. And so we're working right now to satisfy the Congress, OMB, the White House, that our planning is sound. I think we've done that. And now in these very constrained fiscal times, is this an investment that we want to make for the nation, thinking down the road? Everybody's thinking short term right now. This is a long-term investment that we have to make sure we're doing the right thing. I'm confident we are, and I am hopeful that we'll be able to make an announcement about that pretty soon.
Is the timing bad? I mean, given the debt crisis, is the timing on the announcement of this program bad?
Timing on any announcement about any big program is always bad, unless you happen to be someplace that the United States has never been. The timing on the Apollo program was bad in one respect, in that we didn't have that kind of money. But because of the situation then, we had a young president who made a bold decision that we were going to do something that, one, all the technical people said, we're not sure we can do this. If you talk to any of these guys who tutored me, who mentored me when I first came into the space program, and you know this, people left the Rice University speech wondering if the president had lost his mind. Talking about sending humans to the moon. We didn't think we could do that. And what happened overnight, if you read Gene Kranz's book or you talk to him, is the NASA team went back, thought about it, and they said, he has confidence in us. And that's the way we are. We're going to get it done.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right, thanks, folks.